In this video, I will attempt to beat these 12 escape rooms starting from easy to extremely hard. See if you can figure out the levels as I'm completing them. Alright, so we start with level 1 here, and we're given a crafting table, a chest, and a furnace. After looking around, I looked into the chest and noticed that there was a campfire and 6 iron. Placing the campfire down, I wasn't sure how I was going to cook those 6 iron. I almost burnt myself trying to figure it out, and in the furnace there was nothing to cook it with. After breaking the chest and the crafting table, I tried to smelt those, and I got 1 piece of iron out of it, but after almost putting the crafting table in, I decided not to because I would probably need that crafting table later. So taking the 1 iron I got, I tried to figure out how I would cook the rest. I decided that I would break the campfire, and luckily enough, they actually dropped charcoal. I didn't know that. After smelting all the iron, it became pretty apparent what to do next. Looking in the crafting table and all the options that were available, it seemed that the iron bars were the best choice. So after crafting the iron bars, I quickly built my way up, and that's level 1 beaten. Alright, so we're now in level 2. After breaking the moss block and opening the chest, I looked and grabbed all the wither roses. I started decomposing them into the composter, which is very tedious and time consuming. After a few minutes, I think I'd collected enough, so with my 17 bone meal, I started bone mealing the moss block, and I got some grass, but I wasn't sure what to do with this stuff. I tried to craft some black dye, but I don't think it would help. After doing some more bone mealing, I just got more grass and some seeds. I couldn't find a use for the seeds. After continuous bone mealing, what was interesting was that I got a moss carpet. The moss carpet could help me build out, I assumed. After continuing to break grass, I still got nothing of value. So I wasn't sure what to do, so I decided to just keep on continuing to decompose wither roses. This was very time consuming, but after getting enough wither roses, I finally got an azalea. And what's interesting is that when you bone meal an azalea, it'll grow into a sort of tree. And with the wood, it became very apparent what to do next. I mined the wood and turned them into planks and built out. And with this puzzle done, we've completed 2 out of the 12 escape rooms. Here we are in escape room level 3. The first thing I noticed was the 4 pieces of TNT, so I quickly mined those. And also there was 1 piece of wood, which was a bit peculiar. The only thing I could craft with it was a button, so that seemed like the only logical thing to craft. And using the TNT and a button, I placed them down and used the button to ignite the TNT. I only had 4 attempts to do this. For my first attempt, it failed miserably, and for my second attempt, it also didn't end well. And on my third attempt, it failed as well. So this was my final attempt. If I failed, I would have to restart this entire map. But luckily, I managed to blow myself up to the very top with the last piece of TNT. And with that, level 3 is completed. Next up, level 4. What I first noticed was the 2 ladders in the corner, and in the chest was 6 sand shaped like an L. I decided to use the sand I grabbed from the chest to pillar up and grab the ladders. I was barely able to grab them, but then I pillared back down and mined the chests. I decided to use the chests and the ladders as fuel to smelt the sand. Then, using the 6 glass that I got, I crafted them into glass panes. This puzzle was pretty similar to the first one, which used iron bars instead of glass. But anyways, pillaring up with the glass, level 4 is completed. Welcome to level 5. After looking around, the only thing in the room was a single chest, and in it was 5 honeycomb, 5 string, 20 magma cream, and a jump boost potion. After looking into my inventory to see what to craft, I could craft a honey block, wool, magma blocks, or candles. If I crafted a honeycomb or wool, I would only get 1 of each, but if I crafted a candle, I would get 5. But it's really hard to build with candles. I don't even know if that's possible. But I decided to do it anyways, and along with the magma cream, I started to build up in a weird magma block candle pillar. And using the jump boost potion, I was able to pillar up with the candles, which you normally can't do without. Never would I be expecting to make a pillar out of magma blocks and candles. But anyways, placing the last candle and jumping on top of it, level 5 is completed. Alright, next up is level 6, and just by looking around, I can tell this will be very interesting. Looking at the monster spawner, it was covered in items with random stuff, and the ceiling was made of tinted glass. And looking very carefully, I noticed that there was some string, and after checking the entire room, I had collected 4 string. I wasn't sure what to do with it though. I decided to take the items from the item frames, and after that, I broke the item frames to let the water inside flow out. After breaking all of the item frames, it was pretty apparent what to do next. I grabbed the drowned spawner egg and placed it into the mob spawner. Immediately 2 drowned spawned, and I killed one that was using a trident. And with a stroke of luck, I managed to get a trident on my first attempt. I'm assuming with the Riptide book, I would need to use it to escape. I tried to combine the trident with the Riptide book, but I needed a few more levels, so I decided to keep on killing drowned until I had enough. After killing a few more drowned, I decided to use a string I have to craft it into wool. That way I could block up the ceiling and make the room even darker. And actually, while trying to kill drowned, I was killed by a drowned using a trident, so that was a bit unfortunate. But luckily, I'm able to respawn, so I went back and got my revenge on the drowned. After killing the drowned, I panicked for a bit because I couldn't find my trident. But after looking around, I realized it was one of the tridents in the pile of tridents that the original drowned had thrown at me. So, grabbing my trident and going to the anvil, I combined it with my Riptide 2 book. And using the Riptide trident, I broke the ceiling and used the trident to escape the cell. And that is level 6 completed. That was definitely the hardest level so far. I can't wait to get to level 12. In level 7, the first thing I noticed was a block of endstone, a shulker box full of chorus fruit, blazes, and dirt, and also a furnace that was empty inside. I thought I could maybe pillar out using the chorus plants, but that clearly didn't work. For some reason, they break whenever you place more than 2, but they make a satisfying noise when you place a bunch. It's kind of like knuckles crack. After placing a bunch because it was really satisfying, I realized that it was actually dropping chorus fruits, so I kept on placing more, and I found it a lot more faster just to place it than trying to break it. I also placed some blazes down and killed them as well. I figured I could use the blaze rods to help cook the chorus fruit and turn it into popped chorus. So while I was waiting, I decided to place more of those chorus fruit blocks, but also kill some blazes as well. When I killed my second blaze, I got nothing. And when I killed my third blaze, I got nothing as well. But when I killed the fourth blaze, I finally got a blaze rod. Returning to the furnace, I grabbed my popped chorus fruit and saw what I could craft. I decided that crafting the purple block would be the best deal since every popped chorus fruit would equal 1 purple block. I then placed the purple blocks in a sort of staircase-like formation and collected more blazes and also chorus fruit. And just saying, placing chorus fruit is still really satisfying. There should be just a 1-hour ASMR of placing chorus fruit. But anyways, getting back to the escape room challenge, after collecting enough, I decided to break the shulker box and make my way out to escape. So grabbing the pop chorus fruit, I went to my inventory and crafted it all into purple blocks. Then making my way up, I built more into a staircase foundation and placed the shulker box, and with that, I think I almost have enough. I needed to collect a few more, but with that, I finally had enough. And after collecting enough purple blocks, level 7 was completed. We're almost there to level 12. Looking around, level 8 looked pretty interesting. There was a bedrock staircase that I wasn't able to climb, but looking at the pig wearing a saddle, it quickly became apparent what I needed to do. And looking at the items that I was given, and also the fact that I was given a carrot, it became pretty apparent what I needed to do. I mined the nearby log and went into the crafting table. Placing the oak log in, it became pretty apparent that I needed to craft oak wood planks, and then after that, sticks seemed like the logical choice. But I needed to break those cobwebs, so I decided that I probably needed to make a sword. And also double checking, I did have enough sticks to craft a fishing rod to be able to ride the pig, so it seemed like I had just about enough. So mining the cobwebs, I was able to have enough string and sticks to craft a fishing rod. I combined my carrot with a fishing rod, and with that, I was able to ride the pig. And riding the pig, I made my way up the bedrock pillar. It was a bit of a headache, but I finally got to the top. And with that, level 8 is completed. But while celebrating my victory, I accidentally fell off and killed my pet pig. Rip, Billy. After that unfortunate death, I moved on to level 9. Out of all the levels, this was arguably one of the most time-consuming. There were 3 double chests, completely filled to the brim with a random assortment of iron armor, tools, and iron horse armor. I then used the 3 blaze rods to start cooking the iron equipment, and I also got burnt in the process, which is a bit unfortunate, but luckily I survived. Anyways, I carried on smelting the iron equipment, which took a very long time, but eventually after I ran out of fuel, I collected the iron nuggets and crafted them into iron ingots. I wasn't exactly sure yet what to craft, but making a bucket seemed like the right choice, because then I could grab the lava and use it to cook even more stuff. And after getting about 50, I decided that I had enough because I would be able to craft iron bars, and with that, we'd be able to escape. But actually first I needed to collect the chests because I needed every block I could to be able to finally escape. So stacking up with the chests first, I then pillared up with the iron bars, and with that, making this funny looking staircase, we finally make it to the top. We're getting close. Alright, next up is level 10, and there's only a few things in this room. There were slime blocks, pistons, and wooden planks. And mining all of the equipment, I was deciding what I could do with all this stuff. And looking into my inventory, I could craft slime balls, but that didn't seem like a good choice. Making buttons seemed like the most logical solution, so placing the button, piston, and slime, I was able to bounce up, and then quickly place another piston, and do the same process over and over again. This was one of the more simpler, but yet one of the most fun levels, so that was pretty nice. And we're getting closer to level 12, finally. Yeah, this level is pretty fast, one of the fastest I actually completed it. So it looks like we're met with another relatively straightforward room again, and looking into the chest, there was dark oak planks and a bunch of salmon, which is kind of odd, and I wasn't sure exactly what to do with the salmon eggs yet. But first, I mined the gravel and dirt, and looking into my inventory, I can make coarse dirt, and that seemed like the only logical choice. And placing the salmon down, because I had nothing else to do, I was trying to figure out how I would be able to grow those dark oak planks. But anyways, enjoy the fish party. And collecting all the stuff that I got, I realized that the salmon, dropped bones. So using the bones, I quickly crafted it into bone meal, and I placed the coarse dirt. And placing the dark oak saplings and bone mealing them, it became pretty apparent how I would escape. So mining the dark oak planks, I crafted a crafting table, made some ladders, though it really wasn't any faster. I probably should have just built out using dark oak planks, but any matter, I used the dark oak planks, and finally at the very end built my way to the top. And with that, we're finally going into level 12. Alright, so here we are, the final level. Looking into the chest, I noticed there was string, iron, redstone, and a slime ball. It was not apparent what to do at first, and in the distance I could see a dispenser with a floating piece of water. And looking into my inventory, I could craft wool, shears, or iron nuggets. Making the wool made the most sense because then I could turn it into white carpet. But I wasn't sure how I was going to place the white carpet. But I realized that mining the levers, I could potentially use those to be able to place the carpet down and maybe parkour my way to the nearby dispenser. I also broke the chest so I could give myself an extra block to jump on. So placing the lever down, I tested to see if I could put a carpet on top of it. And surprisingly, yes, you can. So jumping on top of the carpet, I placed another lever a bit farther away this time so I could have enough blocks to jump across and get to the dispenser. So placing the final lever down and the final carpet, I finally approached the dispenser. But looking at the dispenser, I was shocked to find that it was covered in barrier blocks. Surely a lever can't power a barrier block, right? I couldn't see any other way to power the dispenser, so I guess we'll give it a shot. I didn't think it would work, but surprisingly, dispensers can be powered through barrier blocks. Doesn't seem to make sense, but I won't complain since we're getting closer to finishing this level now. And placing a lever to make the water flow, and I kept spam clicking the lever until I got all the items out of the dispenser. And making my way over towards them, I picked up all the items and I collected some wood, an iron pickaxe, and some wooden planks. This escape room was way too tall, so I couldn't just build my way out with the wood. So I'd have to be really clever here. So making a crafting table, but actually while trying to make the crafting table I died in the process, and that was a bit clumsy of me. But anyways, respawning, I went back to work. I mined the redstone block that I had because I didn't see any other purpose for it, and looked into my inventory. Seeing all that I could craft, I needed a few more items, I thought. So when I looked at the ground, I noticed that there was cobblestone, so I quickly mined all of that. And picking all of them up, I had 8. And realizing that I could make pistons, I crafted those since that made the most sense. And with the slime ball, I made the sticky piston as well. To use these pistons properly though, I needed to place all the levers back into their original positions. So I mined all the levers that I needed to use to beat this level and put them back into their original starting place. And grabbing the final lever and piston as well, I began my way towards the very top. we needed to make a system called a caterpillar piston, where two pistons facing towards each other push and pull each other in such a way they go in a net upwards direction. So first I activated the bottom piston, and then retracting it, I extended the top piston, which is a sticky piston, and then doing the same process over and over again will very slowly crawl away to the top. But I had to be careful because it's really easy to fall off while you're flicking the levers. All that I needed to do now was keep on flicking the levers. So after flicking the levers for what felt like an hour, we're finally there at the final stretch. We were on the home straight. All that was left now was to flick the final levers that were needed. And with that, we make it to the very top. I thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing.